So my baby's feeding did not go as I expected at all. As a feeding therapist and lactation counselor, you know, a part of me thought like, ooh, we got this down. Feeding's gonna be the easiest thing with my baby. I mean, this is what I specialize in, and that is not the case. And let me tell you why. So my baby has a tongue tie, or had a tongue tie. We got it revised, but we're still working on things. And so let me tell you a little bit about our feeding journey, because I think it can help other people too. So in the hospital after she was born, we got to do that golden hour. It was really great. Nothing was too complex. When it was time to try and latch her, she had a little trouble initially latching, but I was able to elicit her suck reflex using like my finger to touch the roof of her mouth. Once she started sucking on my finger a little bit, I then was able then to get her latched. So when I still had colostrum, she seemed to be eating fine. The doctors were impressed with how she hadn't lost that much weight at the hospital. I knew that she had a tongue tie, but I, of course, at the hospital with everything, didn't do like a full assessment on her that I would usually do or anything like that. And a lot of times with newborns, I like to give them a chance. I like to see how their skills are going to settle out. I mean, at the end of the day, they just joined this earth and they're still kind of figuring things out too. And I was figuring out breastfeeding, so I wanted to give her a chance. So it wasn't something that I was going to bring up or address at that point. Things were seemingly okay. Then we really started noticing more issues once my milk came in. My milk came in and she was just feeding like nonstop, and she would only last like 5-6 minutes on each breast, and then she'd fall asleep and I'd have to wake her up and feed on the other side, and then she'd be hungry again really soon after. It was like we were feeding around the clock. Initially I was like, maybe she's just cluster feeding, but then it was day after day of that. And I noticed, one other thing that I noticed is like with her latch, I could get her to latch. With some strategies, like I was able to improve her latch, so it wasn't painful for me anymore, but I did have a misshapen nipple a lot of the time when she would come off the breast. I knew she was transferring some milk because there would be milk in her mouth still as after breastfeeding. But then one thing that I really noticed was that after that initial day of my milk coming in, my breast did not feel engorged at all after that. And so I was kind of like, well, they should feel full, and they really don't at all. And so I was a little bit concerned there. And then we went to her first doctor's appointment, and she had lost like 7% of her weight, which is normal. But the doctor wanted us to come in a week and just check in on her weight. So we go home, we're still feeding the way we are. I noticed that thing about my breast not feeling very full, so I started pumping a couple extra times a day too. I'm gonna do a part 2 for this.